Hi there. Welcome to class. You need 2 blocks for this class. I'm going to adjust my mat and then we'll get started. Alrighty, hi there. Leave a comment and let me know you're here. We're going to get started pretty much right now. You need 2 blocks for class today and your mat. I recommend having some space at the front of your mat and the back of your mat. We're just gonna go like a little rogue off the front and the back of the mat. So just have a little extra room today if you can. No big deal if it's not working. Let's get started. So come to your mat or the space that you've set up and go ahead and take a seat on a block. And just find a seat that feels really good for you. Feel the hips ground down into the block. Feel the hands resting on the tops of the thighs. And go ahead and close the eyes. Feel the crown of the head reaching up towards the ceiling. And just notice a few cycles of breath right away. This week's theme is listening. I think there's a big part of what's happening in the world. This is true all the time. But especially right now, we're being asked to listen in a little bit of a different way. We're being asked to listen to each other. Many of us are asking to be heard. I believe everyone can probably do like a better job listening well, really hearing. So I want us to just kind of embody what this feels like today. And I just want to start with asking some questions or doing a little exercise of bring to mind like what does it feel like to really be heard from a personal standpoint, not trying to make some theory about it. Just go straight to yourself and ask yourself what it's like to be heard. Does it feel comforting or disassociating? Does it feel like getting answers, or does it feel like empathy? And then flip the scene here a little bit and just tune into what does it feel like to listen well? Like when you're listening to someone else well, what does that feel like? Does it feel defensive or accepting? Does it feel like trying to make a point or asking questions to learn more? Yeah, does it feel more like a debate, or does it feel like a learning experience? And that doesn't have to be either or. I'm just throwing out some ideas. Then I also want us to bring to mind like what it feels like when we're not listening well or when we don't feel heard. Sometimes to know what something is, we have to know what it's not. That's like the relationship of all things in the world is we can't have good without bad. We don't even know what cold is without hot. So also just take a moment to consider maybe a moment or what it feels like when you're not listening well or when you haven't been heard well. Maybe just what it feels like in your body, or if there's adjectives that describe it that come to mind. I'll just share a small personal experience. I've been having trouble, or this is just what I've been like, what's been coming up for me lately in the space of listening is that I've kind of assumed or like already decided what how the conversation was going to go, and spent a lot of time like telling myself the story of like this is what they're going to say, this is what they're going to do, say, whatever. um, and then getting to the actual conversation, realizing that I was just completely wrong. um, and this like whole narrative that I had created was totally off. So, for like some of us are having like some hard conversations, maybe around race or health. COVID's not gone. Um, all of the things that we've been kind of working on since we've like been doing digital yoga together are still things. So maybe that resonates with you, maybe not. So to embody this a little bit more, we're going to start with a body scan. So just go ahead and take your attention to the bottom of your feet and just notice how the bottom of the feet feel. Notice if they feel like open and light, or if they feel tired and heavy. Like if the feet could pick up the phone and tell you or talk to you, what would they say to you right now? Try to suspend judgment on this, or try not to like, if you get to a part of the body that usually always hurts, but let it tell you exactly what's happening right now. And then move to the top of the feet. Just pause there and kind of go through these questions. And then move to the ankles. Take your attention up to the lower leg, the shins, calves, and then take your attention to the area of the knee. Just taking a moment with this like space of the knee that usually is a little bit more vocal, about pain or how it's feeling when there is an issue, maybe. And take your attention to the upper legs. So the femur bone and the quadricep muscles, the hamstrings. Just notice any little bits of tension, any little like, and also notice if things feel like open and light, like, wow, it feels good today. Like, let your attention be there too. Don't only look for the bad, or just notice the tendency of how you even come to this body scan. Like, do you only take your attention to where things feel bad up? And then take your attention to the hip creases and the bowl of the pelvis, considering all of the vital organs that sit within the pelvic bowl, our reproductive organs, our digestive organs, our elimination organs, our detoxifying organs. And move yourself up a little bit to the mid belly where the stomach lives, just right below the bottom of the rib cage. And then again, take your attention even further up to the rib cage where the lungs live and the heart. Maybe notice the breath a little bit more specifically here. And then just take your attention to the back side of the rib. So just following the rib bones from the front where they connect to the sternum around to the back of the spine. And just notice the upper back, the middle back, and the low back, all the way down to the sacrum and the tip of the tailbone. And then circle your way back up to the shoulders and just come to the upper arms. Pausing here. Notice the elbows and the lower arms, the wrist, the hands, all 10 fingers. Are you clenching the legs at all with the hands? And then take your attention back up to the shoulders, the tops of the shoulders, noticing the shoulder blades and the shoulder girdle. And take your attention to the neck, Noticing the cervical spine, the back of the neck, the sides of the neck, and the throat, the front of the neck. And then finally, take your attention up to the head. Taking specific note of the jaw, the tongue, the eyes, even the nose and the nasal cavities. And then take your attention to the whole body. See if you can kind of widen your level of attention to the whole body, almost if you could put your body in like a little orb and notice the whole thing at once. If the body could tell you something this morning about how it's feeling or an update, what would it say? Just honing our ability to listen well, even to ourselves. And then flutter the eyes open and come up off of your block. Place the blocks at the front of the mat, and then you're just going to crawl yourself up to the front edge of your mat. So your knees are going to be at the top edge of the mat, and then the hands will come forward so that the shoulders are over the wrist. We're just going to start with some hip circles. So go ahead and pick a direction and start to make some circles with the hips. Stay in this introspective space as you do this. We'll do about 5, so 2 more big circles probably. And then, yeah, if you want to grow the circles bigger, you can, taking the seat all the way to the heels. Pay attention to what changes. And then come to center, and we'll go the other way. Again, you can start small, and then grow the circles. You could start big and grow small. Good. Continue this pattern of paying attention. So 1 more circle on your second side. And then come to neutral. From here, tuck your toes and press the seat back so that you come to a yogi squat. So the inner edges of the feet are together. The heels sink down, the hips sink down, but the arms reach forward. Let the head fall heavy for a moment here. And then walk the hands underneath the shoulders. Lift the hips halfway and step your left foot back behind you. Walk your hands inside the right foot. Maybe that right foot steps forward a little bit, so you find a lizard shape in the legs. Yeah, and if the hands don't reach the mat, put blocks underneath the hands. So both hands are inside the right foot. Look forward and just rock forward and back a few times. Yeah, just allowing ourselves to begin to open up a little bit here. And then come onto the fingertips and just slide your left knee forward. Come to sit on the left heel and then lean to the left side. Swivel that shin forward and come to Sukhasana. So the right shin comes in front. Take the hands to the side and just pause. And then lean back on the hands. Put the opposite shin in front, left shin in front. And then eagle wrap the arms. Left shin comes underneath, right back to the hands press or palms press. And then lift the elbows up a bit and then reach them away. And then, yeah, here, if you feel the neck talking to you a little bit, you can move it side to side. Yeah, what do the backs of the shoulders or the upper back tell you here? And then unwind and lean onto the right hip. Swing your left leg back behind you and find a pigeon pose. So the right knee comes to the right, left leg is long behind you, and just come onto the forearms. If you need to put a block under the forearms, you can. So this pigeon is a little early, so the hips might be telling us a lot. So stay with it. Notice what the hips are saying. And then bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Tuck your left toe, lift your left knee. Down dog split. Right leg sweeps up and back behind you. Breathe out, just bend the knee and open the hip. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, just step the foot halfway forward. Inhale, lift your left foot up, not super, super far, just like a bit off the mat, and then step your left foot next to your right. Walk your hands forward off the mat and just find a short down dog.
Feel the belly pull up and in towards the spine. You can have a nice bend in the knees here. And then breathe in to lift the heels. Breathe out, lower the knees to the mat. They'll land right at the front of your mat. And then walk the hands, adjust the hands so that the wrists are underneath the shoulders. Taking some cat-cows here, let the belly drop down, chest reaches forward, look forward and up, the chin lifts. Exhale, press into the hands and the tops of the feet, puff up the back, let the head fall heavy. A few more rounds, breathe in, belly drops, chest reaches forward, lift the chin. Exhale, press into the hands and the feet, puff up the back, head falls heavy. Inhale for cow pose. Exhale for cat. Come back to neutral. Tuck the toe, bring the inner edges of the feet together and then tuck the toes. Lean back or sit the hips back on the heels and then press through the hands to lift the knees and take the knees wide. You're back in this yogi squat malasana. Let the head fall heavy. Walk the hands underneath the shoulders. Lift the hips up halfway and step your right foot back behind you. Hands walk inside the left foot. Left foot has to adjust a little bit to the left side. So you're in this lizard pose on the left side and then just rock forward and back a few times. Staying with the breath. Yeah, go ahead and look forward here. And then find some stillness. Come to the fingertips and slide your shin forward. Come to sit on the right heel. And then swing the right shin underneath you. Come to Sukhasana with the left shin in front. Take the hands to the side and pause. Lean back on the hands. Switch the shin so the right shin comes in front. Eagle wrap the arms. Right arm goes underneath the left. Backs of hands press or palms press. Breathe in to lift the elbow or reach the elbows away. Breathe out, reach the elbows just down slightly. Yeah, just notice how is this side different than the first side. Unwind the arms, take them wide and then back down to the mat. Lean onto your left side, right leg swings back behind you. Pigeon pose, left knee comes to the left. Right leg comes super long behind you. Let's bring the forearms to the mat. Forearms can come to a block as well. Let the head hang heavy and tune into the body. Maybe you don't have, maybe the hips saying nothing to you here. Or, really, are we ever saying nothing, right? So maybe the hip, where many people call it out as a point of tension, maybe it feels great. Notice that if the body is telling you what feels like nothing, that also probably means that that part of the body is like operating optimally. It's doing great. But we only can see that and know that if we really look closely. So, do your own investigation as well. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck your right toes, lift your knee, and then down dog split with the left leg up. Breathe in. Breathe out, just bend the knee and open the hip here. Yeah, and then straighten the leg and step the foot halfway forward. Breathe in, lift your right leg. Breathe out, step the right foot next to the left. Walk the hands forward a little here. You can have a bend in the knees, a short down dog. Let the belly swing up and in. And then lift the heels and bring the knees to the mat here. Bring the inner edges of the feet together and find yogi squat. Press the hips back, let the hips sink, heels sink, arms reach forward, knees are wide. This time, slide the hands. So flip so the backs of the hands are to the mat and then slide the hands underneath the shins, catch your heels. And then your shoulders will kind of come and nuzzle right in between the knees. Give the shoulders a little squeeze with the knees. So the knees pull in, let the head fall heavy. And release, hands come to the mat, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Breathe in, roll to plank pose, look forward. Breathe out, lower to the belly. Untuck the toes, lift the head and the chest, elbows pull back. Exhale, press back to downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal the feet a few times here, shake the head no. And then turn the pedaling of the feet into little steps towards the front of the mat. When you get to the top, take a half lift, look forward. Exhale, hands come to the waist. Heavy the tailbone to stand up. Exhale, heel toe the feet together and take the hands by the sides. Tadasana, mountain pose. Feel the feet grounding down into the mat. Gather the hands in front of your heart center. What does it feel like to be heard? To be really heard? What does it feel like to listen well? Take the hands by the sides. Breathe in, reach the arms to the sides and up. Look up, see the hands touch. Exhale, bend the knees, hands come down, fold over the legs. Inhale, take a half lift, look forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, roll to plank pose. Look forward, exhale, lower the knees, arch the back, lower the chest and the chin. Untuck the toes and press through the shins, baby cobra, slide chest forward, elbows pull back, head and chest lift. Exhale, press yourself back to downward facing dog. 5 breaths here, let the head go. Press through the hands, lengthen the sides of the waist. Take a cycle of breath or two to kind of get yourself set up. Adjust, wiggle if you need to. Don't be rigid. And then see if you can tune into the breath a little bit more. That's 3, 4. On your 5th exhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, and look forward between the hands. On empty, step or jump to the front of the mat. When you arrive, half lift. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, stand all the way up, arms to the side and up. Look up and see the hands touch overhead. Exhale, pull the hands through center and find Tadasana, mountain pose. Breathe in, arms reach up, look up. Exhale, bend the knees and fold over the legs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step to plank pose and look forward. Breathe out, lower halfway for chaturanga or lower to the belly. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 more breaths here. That's 1. Just through the hands, deep in the armpits. 2. 3. No need to breathe on my cadence here. Breathe at your own pace. 4. I'm just giving you kind of like a point in time so you know where we are. You know we're going to 5. On this 5th exhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, and look forward. Step or jump to the front of the mat. When you arrive, half lift. Exhale, fold over the legs. Slightly bend the knees as you stand up, arms reach to the side and up. Look up and see the hands. Exhale, pull the hands through center and stand in Tadasana, mountain pose, or Samasthiti, equal standing. Separate the feet just a little bit. Eyeball it for now, so maybe like 2 to 3 inches between the big toes, and take the hands to the waist. And then breathe in, lengthen the sides of the waist here. On your exhale, keep the length on the sides and then bend the knees and fold over the legs. Grab the big toes with the first 3 fingers. For a second though, take your 2 fists between your big toes and measure the space between them. Then grab the big toes. Lengthen the sides of the waist, look forward. Exhale, fold over the legs. Elbows pull in opposite directions. Let the head fall heavy. Padangusthasana. Press through the feet. Engage the legs here. Especially where you feel tension. Try to shake the head no. Try to keep the neck soft and supple. That's 3. 4. 5. Breathe in, take a half lift here. Breathe out, Hands release from the toes, heel to the feet together. Bend the knees and take the arms up. Find a chair pose. Exhale, keep sitting the hips low. Let the tailbone drop. Let the pubic bone drop. Stay with your breath. On your next exhale, reach the hands forward, lay the belly on the tops of the thighs for a half chair. And then continue to bend the knees, bring the seat to the mat, lift the feet, arms come and reach forward here for Navasana boat pose. Inner legs pull towards one another. You can point the toes. I like to flex my toes. I think it engages the whole belly here. And have a little curve in your spine to really make sure that you're activating the belly. Let's take one more cycle of breath here. And then on your inhale, you're just going to release a little bit, not all the way to Ardha Navasana. On the exhale, hands come inside the knees. Knees come towards the shoulders. Inhale, release. Exhale, pull in and knees go wide. Inhale, release. Exhale, pull. 2 more times, breathe in. Breathe out, knees to elbows, or shoulders, I mean. Inhale, release. Exhale, knees to shoulder. Inhale, release. Exhale, stay here. And then find low boat, Ardha Navasana. Everything extends and hovers. And release everything to the mat. Bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the mat here, and then just hug both knees into the chest. You can rock side to side. And then find Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet press. Hands come to the feet. And then find a happy baby. So soles of the feet go up towards the ceiling. If you need to grab the ankles or the shins, do that. And soles of the feet. Happy baby. Go ahead and move between these two a few times. Yeah, just finding a little bit of fluidity here. Nice. And then come to Baddha Konasana. From here, cross your right ankle in front of your left. Reach your hands inside your knees and then take your hands to the bottoms of your heels. And then you're going to lift your head and your shoulders. If you might stay here in this position. Otherwise, the feet are going to come towards the forehead. And as you do that, you might nuzzle the elbows further through the legs so that the knees come just outside the shoulders. And then continue maybe using the hands to press the feet towards the forehead. Any amount here, you guys, any amount. No strain in the hamstrings. Keep this easy. And release this. And we're going to do the other side. So cross your left ankle in front. Take a moment here. And then on your next exhale, lift the head and the shoulders. Feet come towards the forehead. And then maybe you nuzzle the shoulders inside the knees. Feet come towards the forehead. Stay with the breath. Yeah, your low back and your hips will come up off the mat here. And release, come back to Baddha Konasana. And then find happy baby once again. This time, take your hands inside the feet and then wrap the hands behind the ankles and the heels. On your next exhale, lift the head and the shoulders. And then once again, nuzzle the elbows forward so that the knees come right outside the shoulders. From here, this time you're going to squeeze the knees into the shoulders and then see if that allows you to release the hands. Press the hands down and away from you, and maybe your right ankle will cross over your left. Keep squeezing the knees. Keep looking. Let's look towards the toes. And then release and see if you can cross the left ankle in front. Beautiful. Release this. Hug the knees into the chest. And then release everything. Legs come all the way long. Arms reach up and overhead. Tadagi Mudra. And then bend the knees. Hug the knees back into the chest. And catch behind the knees. Tuck the chin. And begin to roll forward and back. Along the spine here. Take a few rolls to get some momentum, and then you'll find you at the front of your mat in a yogi squat with the knees wide. Scoot yourself back so your hands can be on the mat. Hands come to the mat right underneath the shoulders. Lift the hips. Knees come to the backs of the arms. Look forward and put weight into the hands. Maybe the feet lift up for crow. Stay with it. Breathe. Listen. Can you listen when things get a little bit hard or difficult? And then shoot the feet back if you can, or put the feet down and meet up in downward facing dog. Breathing in. Breathing out. From here, walk the feet about halfway forward. Find that half down dog again. Maybe the hands walk a little forward as well. Feel the belly pull up and in. And then lift the heels and bring the knees to the mat at the front of the mat. So you're back in this hands and knees shape. Yeah, we want these blocks kind of move by. This time, take the knees wide. Tuck the toes behind you. And then press through the hands and come to yogi squat with the knees apart. Hands press in front of the heart. Elbows press to the inner knees. Find broadness across the collarbones. Hands come to the mat. Step your left foot back. Both hands stay inside the right foot. And then turn your left heel down so that it's in line with your right heel. Press your right hand down inside your right foot. If it doesn't reach, grab a block. On your next exhale, peel the left arm up towards the ceiling. Feel your right knee and your right shoulder pressing together. Gaze can follow the thumb, the left thumb up towards the ceiling. And then you have an option to flip the hand and drape the arm behind the back. We're just going to take the half bind for today. Keep pulling this right hip up and underneath you. Stay with your breath. And release left hand up. Take the hand to the mat. Flip your left heel up as well. Breathe in and straighten your right leg. Breathe out, right toes turn to the left, come through center. Half lift, breathe in. Breathe out, turn your left toes out just a bit here and bend into the left knee. Take your left forearm to the inner knee or inner thigh and press the knee away from you. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, find a low lunge at the front of the mat. Grab your blocks on the highest setting. Hands come to blocks, launch forward, left leg lifts, warrior three. Come to the pads of your fingers on your blocks and lift your hands forward. Breathing in. Breathing out. Are you still tuned in? What happens when you become a little bit groundless? Hands come back to the blocks, left foot steps down next to the right, and fold over the legs. If the hands reach the floor, take the hands to the floor, take a half lift, and step your right foot back behind you. This time you'll have the feet on more like railroad tracks rather than a tightrope. Straighten your right leg. So these right toes are turned out a little bit. Take a half lift. Lengthen the sides of the waist. Line up your sternum with your front leg and fold. Let that head fall heavy. Pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Inhale, half lift and soften your front knee. On your exhale, right knee comes forward and sits down on the mat right outside your left foot. Come to sit down in a seated spinal shape. Just land here and take the thumbs to the inner creases of your thighs and just feel both hips pressing down. Close the eyes for a moment and pause. And then open the eyes, lean onto the right side, swing the left leg behind you, pigeon pose. Take your right knee to the right, and then tuck your left toes and scoot the knee back a little bit. This will let the hips sink a little bit more towards the floor. And then we're going to fold forward any amount here. So you might come back to the forearms for another round. Maybe the hands walk forward, but maybe you want to go even less than we did at the beginning of class. We came to our forearms the first time we did pigeon. And so maybe you want to back out of that even based on what your body's telling you today. If you need a blanket or a pillow underneath your right hip, if the right hip is really far off the ground, go ahead and place a prop there. And then walk the hands back up. Sink onto the right hip and come to sit down in this half Upavista Konasana. Take the hands behind you, lean back and find Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet touch. And then find Tarasana and move the heels away from the groin. Palms face up, slide the hands underneath the calves. And then the hands can come towards the knees. Any amount you're gonna fold forward here. Open and close the mouth. Don't resist the urge to make this look exactly like my posture. And then come back up. Take the hands behind you, pull the heels in, Baddha Konasana. Left knee folds in towards the right. Find hands and knees at the front of the mat. Take the knees wide. Tuck the toes behind you. Press through the hands and find yogi squat. Hands press in front of the heart. Use the elbows to press the knees away from you. Yeah, the toes are turned out just a little bit here. Hands come to the mat. Lift the hips. Right foot steps back. And then spin your right heel down. Both hands can stay inside the left foot. Left hand presses down inside the left foot. Feel the left knee and left shoulder pressing into one another. As you do that, the next exhale brings the right hand up towards the ceiling. Keep tucking this left hip up and underneath you. Option here to flip your top hand and drape the arm behind the back. Lean into this hand here. It's a side angle B. Reach the left hand up and take the hand to the mat. Flip your right heel up as well. Breathe in and straighten your left leg. Left toes turn to the right, come through center. And then turn your right toes out. Bend the right knee any amount. Take the right forearm to the inner right thigh and then press the knee away. Come back through center and find a low lunge. From here, reach the hands forward onto your blocks. Warrior 3, right leg lifts. Come to the finger pads. Find some stability and reach the hands forward. You might soften the left knee to find stability and balance here. Try not to lock completely out of the knee. Stay with the breath. On your next exhale, hands to the mat, right foot steps next to the left, and just fold over the legs. From here, take a half lift. On the exhale, if the hands reach the mat, go ahead and take them there and step your left foot back. Spin your left heel down to the mat. Inhale to straighten your right leg. Lengthen the sides of the waist. On the exhale, fold over the right leg, let the head fall heavy. Pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Inhale, half lift, soften your front knee. Exhale, left knee comes outside the right foot and sit down into seated spinal twist. Take your thumbs to the hip creases and just feel both hip points pressing down into the mat. And then just close the eyes and pause here for a moment. Arrive. Open the eyes and swing your right leg behind you. Pigeon pose, left knee comes to the left. Tuck the right toes and move the hips back and down. Same with the right knee. Then come to the forearms or fold forward any amount here. Walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Lean onto the left hip and come to sit down in this half Upavista Konasana shape. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. Lean back, Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet touch. And then move the heels away for Tarasana. So you've got like a diamond shape in the legs. Palms flip up. Slide the hands underneath the shins. Hands come towards the feet, and then you're going to fold forward any amount. From here, just float yourself back up. Take the hands behind the back, pull the heels in towards the seat, and then right knee folds towards the left, find hands and knees, and then just find a downward facing dog. Breathe in, come to plank pose, look forward. Breathe out, lower halfway for chaturanga. Breathe in, upward facing dog. Breathe out, downward facing dog. Look forward at the hands and just bring the hands slightly closer together. Inhale to lift the heels. Exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. This time, jump the feet outside the hands and land in yogi squat. Sit the hips low, hands touch in front of the heart. Press the elbows into the knees. Yes, we're coming into it. Pushing backwards, coming forwards. Hands come to the mat. Step your left foot back and find a lizard shape. If the hands don't reach the floor, bring them to blocks. This time, right hand's going to come behind the right heel, and you're going to tuck your shoulder underneath the right knee. Yeah, so you might use the calf and the shin as leverage to tuck the shoulder underneath. And then the hands might come wide, and you might lift the hands for flying lizard if you do look forward, or you might bind behind the back. If you take the bind, really reach the sternum forward. Good, release the hands. Inhale, straighten right leg, right toes turn to the left, come through center, half lift. Exhale, turn the left toes out, bend into the knee any amount, and come to Skandasana. Yeah, right leg gets super long here. Good, come back through center and find a low lunge. From here, standing split, left leg lifts up, fold the whole torso into your right leg. One or both hands can come to the ankle or the shin. Get a little extra balance. And then bring your left knee outside the right foot and sit down in this seated spinal shape once again. Bring your thumbs to the hip creases. Feel both hip points anchored to the floor. And then an option here to come to Gomukhasana. So that right knee is going to fold and lay right on top of the left. From here, take the hands to the side. You're going to reach your right hand over to the right. Left arm reaches up and over. Maybe you even dip the left elbow down towards the floor. So you feel a really nice opening in the left side of the body here. And come back to center. Just pause for a moment. And walk the hands forward. Walk the hands back up and swing your right leg behind you. You're finding a pigeon pose drive-by here. Sink onto the left hip and come to sit down. I'm going to turn to the side a little bit. Lean back and find Baddha Konasana. And then find Sukhasana with the right shin in front. From here, you're going to pick up your right shin and pull it towards the chest. Some of us might just hook the elbow creases in the shins. Some of us might like the version where you cradle the shin with the elbows, and then I'll just rock side to side. Maybe you take it forward, back, make little circles. Good, and then the right hand, or the left hand will come to the outer edge of the right foot. The right arm will come inside the right knee. And then bring the knee back to the shoulder a few times. Yeah, the shoulder is going to be inside the knee, and then maybe one of the times the knee comes over the shoulder. And then release. Try not to make this a big deal. Try not to strain too much to do this. And then release. Hands come behind you. Soles of the feet press. Fold your right knee towards your left. Hands come to the mat and step to downward facing dog. Breathe in, come to plank pose. Breathe out, look forward, lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look forward, bring the hands a little bit closer together. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Jump the feet outside the hands into yogi squat. Sit hips low. If that doesn't work, just walk forward. Press the elbows into the inner knees, hands press. Hands come to the mat, step your right foot back. You're in this lizard shape once again. Left hand comes behind the left heel. And then use the hand to tuck the left shoulder underneath the left knee. Some of us might take the hands wide. If you go wide, look forward. Maybe you bind behind the back. Stay with the breath. And release the hands. Straighten your left leg. Turn the left toes to the left. Come through center. And then turn your right toes out. Bend the right knee any amount. Maybe you come all the way to Skandasana. Keep pressing through the outer edge of your right pinky toe. Good, come back through center and find a low lunge. From here, we're standing split, right leg lifts up, fold into your left leg. Yeah, and then one or both hands can come to the ankle or the shin. If the hands are up, bring the hands back to the mat, and then the right knee comes outside the left foot. Come to sit down, seated spinal twist. Thumbs come to the hip creases, feel the hips grounding down. And then you have an option to lay the left knee on top of the right. And then the feet come a little bit wider for Gomukhasana, cow face pose. Also an option to put a block underneath the seat here. Take the left hand to the left, reach to the left, right arm reaches up and over. And then you have an option to drop the left elbow to the mat or the floor. And come back to center. Just pause here. Maybe you close the eyes, feel the effects. And then walk the hands forward and in. Maybe the chin hooks just on top of the kneecap. Walk the hands back up. Swing your left leg all the way around behind you. Kind of a drive-by pigeon pose here, and then sink onto the left or the right hip. And find our Parvarta Janu Shirshasana position here. Lean back and find Baddha Konasana. And then find Sukhasana, left shin in front. And then same thing, pull the left shin in towards the body. Maybe you hook the elbows like this. Maybe you wrap the creases of the elbows around the knee and the bottom of the foot. And then just find a little movement. And then take your right hand to the outer edge of your left foot. Left arm comes inside, and then bring that left knee back to the left shoulder a few times. And then maybe one time it hooks over. And release it. Yeah, make it easy. Make it not a big deal. So that maybe you'll just randomly do this when you're watching TV one day. And then you'll keep doing it every single day. And then release. Bring the feet, Baddha Konasana. Left knee folds towards the right, hands to the mat, downward facing dog. Breathe in, roll to plank pose, look forward. Breathe out, lower halfway for chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk the hands towards the back of the mat. Take a half lift. Exhale, hands to the waist, head to the tailbone, come to stand up. Walk to the front of the mat or wherever your blocks are. Grab your blocks and then come to stand in the middle of your mat. Take the feet wide. I have to heel toe them wide, hands to the waist. Look at the feet, make sure they're parallel. Lift the sides of the waist and then fold forward, hands come to the mat. Take the heels of the hands in line with the heels of the feet. Elbows bent straight back, crown of the head comes to the mat. Fold forward here, Prasarta Padottanasana. And then walk the hands forward, half lift, and heel for the feet in. Take the feet wider than the hips, and then put a nice bend in the knees, and just fold over the legs. Just let yourself hang for a moment. And then from here, walk your hand behind your heels, so both hands come behind the heels. And see if you can nuzzle the knees outside the shoulders. Or see if you can get the shoulders to nuzzle down in between the knees. Keep the knees bent. And release, hands to the mat. Bring the knees to the mat for a moment. Alrighty. Here we go. Bring your blocks to the mat. We're gonna do our peak pose. So set yourself up so if you fall back behind yourself, you won't, you're in the clear, you won't hit anything. You'll just kind of fall on your bum. And then if you roll onto your back, you won't hit. So I've got like rock back here, so I'm facing this way on purpose. Come to stand up in front of your blocks. So the blocks are gonna be about as wide as you just had that forward fold where we put our hands behind our heels. And then come to stand in front. Take the hands to the waist, soften the knees, and fold over the legs. Reach the hands inside the feet and place the hands on the blocks. Fingertips face forward. And then use the elbows to nuzzle the shoulders back underneath or in between the knees. And then sit the hips back. And you'll notice that they'll land right on the backs of the arms. As you do that, look forward and lift your heels. So you come to the tippy toes, slide the toes towards one another, and cross your right ankle in front of your left. Squeeze the knees in. So this is called shoulder pressing pose, Bujapidasana. And then reach the forward as you reach the seat back. And uncross and fold over the legs. Just catch opposite elbows and swing. Yay. And let's just try the other side. Hands come back behind you. And then fold forward. Really bend the knees and get the knees over the shoulders if you can. And then sit back. The hamstrings will land on the triceps. And then cross left shin in front. Look forward. Reach the feet away. Knees pull into shoulders. And release. Catch opposite elbows again. And rock side to side. Move your blocks to one side. Come to the knees. Cross the ankles. Plant the feet. Hands come back behind you. Lift the hips up. Let the head fall back. Just look straight up at the ceiling. And lower the seat. Find Baddha Konasana. Fold your left knee over towards your right. Don't make it a huge deal. Just a simple twist. This is a neutral twist. Then fold right knee over to the left and just let yourself kind of swing and come back to center. Cross the ankles, come to the knees, place a block between the ankles or two, and sit in Virasana. Go ahead and land here. Hands come to the lap. Close the eyes. You cannot truly listen to anyone and do anything else at the same time. So try to let the body not do anything else at the same time. Try to let the body become still. And we've spent the last 50 minutes or so listening to our bodies. So use the stillness of the body to allow yourself to illuminate the breath, to listen a little bit more closely to your breath. You remove your consciousness enough that you can watch your own breath. Right? To observe the breath means that there's something else within us that can observe. Feel the hands resting on the lap again. Bring yourself back to the body and let the eyes flutter open. From here, take your hands behind you. You're just going to lean back a little bit, stay on your block. If you're on 2 blocks, this is probably as far as you're going to go. If you're on 1 block, you can move the hands even further back. This will be a nice stretch for the arms and the shoulders. We did a lot of work on the hands. And then if you're on the block, you can come to the forearms, but that's as far as you're going to go. A little Supta Virasana variation. And then press yourself back up. Lift yourself off the block, cross the ankles, and come to lay down on your back. Bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the mat, and just lift the hips up and place a block underneath the sacrum for a moment. Just one block for today. Let the arms be long by the sides. Just let the pelvis and the bowl of the pelvis sink into the block. Press through the feet, lift the hips back up, extend the legs long, extend the arms overhead. Find this, we call it Tadagi Mudra. So you're reaching the hands really far up, the feet are reaching super far away from you. And then find Shavasana. Hands come by the sides, palms face up. The feet relax, the legs relax and splay out. Let the whole body get heavy here. Let the eyes be soft. Let the jaw unclench. Can you find a completely relaxed state, completely releasing, completely letting go? And also keep your capacity to listen. What is it like to listen while you're in Shavasana? Can you remain receptive? Slowly bring your attention back to your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bend the knees and bring the soles of the feet to the mat. And then let the knees fall to the left side and just roll over. And press through your right hand, keep the eyelids heavy, and come to a comfortable seat. Hands rest on the lap, crown of the head reaches up towards the ceiling as your hips ground down into the floor. Listening is an art that requires attention over talent, spirit over ego, and others over self. As you gather your hands through to your heart center, gather all of the insights, all the things that you realize or learn in this 60 minutes. Gather them towards you so that you can take them off your mat. And then take the thumbs to the third eye, the space between the eyebrows, as a way to seal your practice. Namaste. Thanks, Yogi Gang. I'd love to know who's on if you're here. Oh, that was sunburn. Thanks for joining. So we have this class next week as well. We have a class on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern time, so the same time as this, but on Sundays, and it's called Soul Service, and it's going to be a lot of some of the stuff we just did, plus restorative and yin. It should leave you feeling just like really nourished is the goal, and like rested and restored and ready for a new week. I'm super excited for that class. We also have a class tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and it's a basics and alignment class, but you need to email me to let me know that you want to join that. Hi, Jill. Good morning. Thanks for being here. Otherwise, donations, I'm asking for a minimum of a $10 donation for these classes.
that or more if you can give more. And you can find me on Venmo and PayPal. Thanks for coming today, and have a great weekend and the rest of your day. See you soon.